So the other video got cut off. I'm still gonna, it's gonna be like part two, kind of short, few words. For now, this is all we have, and it's a lot, and this is a good day, it's a good week, it's a good month. I'm liking it. I'm liking the dismissal. I love that word, dismissal. It's great. Let's just keep dismissing one by one. Although I don't even know if it's going to be necessary to dismiss the other ones, because this is just going to look so bad for these people. Purely. What the hell is purely? I meant period, not purely. Sorry, I apologize. So here we go. That's it. So yeah, because she sat on it for 10 years. She could have done something before 2013, but she didn't. Like I said, she could have a restraining order against him or done something, but she didn't. And that is to know for everybody that if that happens to you, you have to do something. You have to seek help before 10 years pass. So he keeps going on the same things, all technical codes, numbers. I love this guy. Short and sweet. This is only a 4 pages. I sit here and read like 4 hours of Chloe Black, 3 hours on Ashley Morgan, 2 hours of of all this, like, fairy tales and all these things that they were saying that he did, and all these little stories, and it took me so long to read. And this is just so simple and short and just professionally done. And also, you know why it feels good? Because it's the truth. and I don't like bullshit. Okay, so that's it. So pretty much that's what he did. This is what he filed to dismiss Esme, based on she doesn't have enough proof, and also the statute of limitations expired in 2013 for her. But they're saying if there was more proof, like a physical proof, like a physical injury or something like that she can prove, they will look into it. But she doesn't have that, so it's gonna be dismissed. That's it. And Manson is not asking for anything else but to respectfully be dismissed. He's not taking her to court, which I think is pretty noble and cool of him. I probably wouldn't. I probably would just take her for perjury and drag her down, just out of revenge. Was probably not. It's not a good feeling to have. But he's been, amazing about that. His attorney, probably also his attorney idea, like, just. But if he really wants to, he's the one paying for the lawyer. If he really wants that, he can say, oh, let's just go on her and against her, and just not cancel her, but just like make her life a living hell because she lied about me. He's not doing that. He's respectfully asking for her files to be dismissed. So Warner knows the plaintiff alleges. She says that it took her years to understand the extent. This is what she remembers her saying, that it took me years to understand. That's what Evan said as well. It took me years to understand. But at the same time, they said, well, in the moment I thought I was gonna die. So like, you thought you were gonna die. You were in the closet calling your mom. This guy was yelling at you and throwing hammers at you and throwing pots and pans, and you thought you were gonna die. But then you're saying it took you years. It took you years to understand the extent of the abuse. That's what the discrepancy goes right there. You either knew when it was happening that you were gonna die, or either it took you some years. Which one is it? Like, I think it's nothing. I think it's none of it. And if it was true, she knew right there that it was trouble. She didn't just now, or it took her 10 years to just get her memories back. For somebody who's an actress, that's an important thing I wanted to say, but I forgot to say it. For somebody who's an actress, let's say Evan and Esme, the two main people, are two big actresses, and they learn how to memorize stuff, and they have wicked memory because they have to work with scripts and memorize long scripts. Can you imagine Game of Thrones? Long scripts. And they're saying, and they're relying on their memory. Don't you think that's funny? Just a little side note. I like side notes like that. That is kind of weird. When people go like, well, they just don't remember. They remember now. These women remember everything. They're actresses. They sit on interviews and they tell stories about what happened when they were kids. Evan is always talking about her parents and tells stories about what happened when she did the movie 13. They have memory. They don't have dementia. They don't have Alzheimer's. They don't have brain injuries. So when they go on the memory thing, you're gonna have to show proof that your memory is fucked up. You can't just say, well, I kind of didn't understand, but I understand now. No, that is not enough. But if you show proof that you have a brain injury or something like that and your memory doesn't work, you might have a case on this whole memory thing. But your memory is just fine. You've been memorizing scripts or movies for what? 20 years, 15 years. So nice try, right? With the memory stuff. This is what she's saying. She's saying that it took years to understand the extent of the physical, sexual, psychological, emotional abuse. While the complaint does not allege this is a base to toll the statute of limitations, to the extent plaintiff intends to make such an argument, it does not really matter. See, plaintiff will be incorrect. California courts have rejected the argument that delayed discovery they call it, like when you go like, oh shoot, that happened, I remember now. It's a delayed discovery of the extent of one injury tolls the statute of limitations. For example, in a sexual abuse case, the plaintiff argued the statute of limitations was told due to her delayed discovery and ongoing deep-seated psychological injuries and brain injuries to cause the loss of memory. Then they will listen to you. So I was just, this is something nobody talk about, but it's important to say that it's not that these courts are going like, oh, blah blah blah, we don't want to hear it. We're not gonna hear it. You're a bunch of liars. They're saying they will hear it. Okay, they will listen. They will give you a chance to explain your case if you can show that you have something going on in your brain that is stopping you from remembering. Do you see what I mean? In a lot of cases, people do have problems, mental problems or psychological problems, neurological problems that will make you actually not remember. I know people that don't remember what they did, what they ate yesterday. It's really weird. That's like short-term memory problems. I don't have that, but I know people that do. So imagine, you know what I mean? Like imagine that in a big scale of not remembering what this guy did to you. So you're gonna have to prove you have some type of brain injury. So she doesn't. So the delayed discovery, the delayed discovery rule or law does not apply for her. There's no doctor notice that nobody's seen that. If there is, there isn't. Saying that you have anxiety attacks and saying that you have post-traumatic stress disorder is not enough. It's horrible if it's horrible if she has that, but it's not enough to prove that your memory is gone. Does that make sense? Like for example, somebody suffers seizures a lot, all right? And after every seizure, you have your brain damages a little bit. You can have seizures and live with seizures the whole rest of your life and be healthy. But every time you have a grand mal seizure, trust me, the brain's going like, what the hell? And you're gonna lose some type of something. You're gonna lose memory. You're gonna lose the way you respond to certain feelings. You're gonna lose sometimes the way that your right or your side of your body or left side of your body moves. You're going to lose things over and over and over when you have. I'm not talking about mental illnesses like depression or bipolar. I'm talking about neurological problems. So if she had that, yeah, I'll believe it that she doesn't remember because she has a brain problem, a brain injury, but she doesn't. So she's blaming him on things that she cannot really remember, and she's not giving us proof why she doesn't really remember them. That's how ridiculous this is. Unawareness of additional harm, feelings of great shame, embarrassment, humiliation, and fear and confusion about herself and guilt are not enough, okay, to kick the statute of limitations down. It's not enough to feel guilty, self-hate, anxiety, the will for revenge, trying to get the guy, try to get back at him because he pissed you off or he ghosted you, or just the feelings of guilt because you're kind of embarrassed of the stuff that you did with him, that is not going to work for them. It's not bad enough for them to extend it. That's pretty much what it is. However, you have a brain injury, you have seizures, you have some type of problem with your memory or a brain stroke, you can have a case. You really can have a case because all that stuff messes up with your memory. She doesn't have a history of none of that. So yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying here. Self-hate, guilt, anxiety is not enough. For this type of thing, it's not enough. Psychosomatic, sleep-related complaints, inability to differentiate between sex and affection, and difficulty forming meaningful trust relationships. That is an x-ray of her right there. Anxiety, depression, psychosomatic, sleep-related complaints, the inability to differentiate sex and affection, complaints about forming meaningful trust relationship with the other person. That's Esme right there. Only created uncertainty into the amount of damages. And it's not going to stop the statute of limitations. Period. I said that 100 times, but I don't think that this was touched before and it was clear. People are saying all over the place, well, she cannot do it because of statute of limitations. Actually, there are little blueprint to statute of limitations. You have to seriously have a brain injury, a stroke, or some type of condition that just removes your memory. It blocks some memories from your life, and then they will just do a bunch of tests to see if you actually have that. You can't just say I have it. So if she had that, they probably would just give it a little bit of thought, but she doesn't. She based everything on anxiety and shame and guilt and reputation, and those are not problems that are going to, they're not as big just to change the law as me. They're not. It's pretty much what I've been thinking this whole time, is that she was embarrassed or ashamed. She shouldn't be, but maybe she was, of things that she did with him when she was with him, because nobody's denying that she wasn't with him. He admitted that they were together, and now it's like, I'm gonna jump on the boat that everybody else jumped. Actually, she built the boat. Her and Evan built the boat, and then we're all just gonna go on him because we are ashamed of what we did and we feel guilty about what we did. So it's an endless repetition of deflecting. These women have been doing. They've been deflecting and reflecting everything that they hate about themselves on him. You know what I mean? Like, he's a pervert, he's violent, he's a narcissist, he's selfish. This is all things that they are. It's sad. It's very sad. Like, when I think about it, when I think about Evan, which is probably the worst case of all of them, the amount of how delusional she is, and how the other day she was like flipping people off, flipping Manson off, supposedly when she said the word Marilyn Manson with a glow on her face, and flipping off after the Kanye West listening party. That shows you right there how ill she is. And I'm saying that allegedly ill. I think she is. And it's bad. Whatever trauma happened to her, that I think it did happen, but not by him, made her into this person that she is out there for blood. And all right, cool. That's what I'm saying. There's freedom here. You can sue anybody, okay? But at the end of the day, the same is going to happen to all these women when they get dismissed. It's going to be, well, do you have seizures? Do you have a brain problem? Do you ever suffer from a stroke? Do you have memory problems? Oh no, I don't. No, I memorize scripts all the time. So your memory works just fine. So when they talk about, I didn't know that was happening, but now I know it wasn't happening. I know now that's happening. Back then I didn't know it was happening. It's not going to roll. At least here. And that is amazing. That's why I like the law when it comes to the law. And not Instagram or Twitter or public opinion or people getting so worked out because they have been abused, so they have to side with these women, and no, you don't represent me. I said before, they don't represent me. I don't look up to them. As a survivor myself, I don't look up to you, Esme. I don't look up to you, Evan. Certainly not you, Evan. So, my that's what I'm saying. My advice is get a restraining order. Some dude is bothering you. So then when you go to court eventually for something like this, you got proof. You got like, look, I got a restraining order. This guy was pissing me off. I felt, not pissing me off, but I felt unsafe. I'm scared. So then you build something. You build a case. You build a paper trail, it's called. But without that, coming 5 years after, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years after, and saying, well, my memory was messed up, but actually is working fine now, while we know that you've been working, learning scripts and movies and stuff, and you have to read books and scripts and stuff that requires a lot of memory, a wicked amount of memory that usually people, they're not actors, we don't have that. You can't say that you don't have it when you have it. I mean, it's just she can say whatever she wants. She can go on her Instagram and just go and say whatever she wants, but the law is the law. And in any state, you're not going to go over that. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how many times she goes and cries on TV, or Ashley Morgan goes on the View and cries with Whoopi Goldberg about what happened to her. That's not the law, that's TV, and that's public opinion. That's what the Columbine thing was so hard for him to prove. How can you prove that you didn't do something that you didn't do? Besides, it's not really an act. They're saying, well, you're bad, and because you're bad, Columbine happened, because you influenced these kids, and these other kids, and these other kids, and all the bunch of shootings start happening. They're copycat shootings, not because of Manson, but because of how tragic the whole thing was. And we can talk about who's really responsible for Columbine. And I don't think it's Manson. I think it's all the people, their guns and whatever. I'm not getting into it, but this is actually easier to dismiss than Columbine. Columbine, it took years for him to even be able to play in some states in the South, some states in the Midwest he couldn't even go to. So I think this is good news. And this is easier, and it's going to get easier, and it's going to get better for him. And worse for them, for Evan and Esme, because they just didn't do the right thing. And you can lie on Instagram, you can lie on Twitter, you can lie on YouTube, but you go to court, and yeah, you can get a good lawyer, but they don't like bullshit. That's their job. The job of a judge. This was a really hard job to have, and that's why they get paid a lot of money. I think they deserve it. They had to sit there all day looking at people and trying to figure out if a person is lying or not. So trust me, and they have some experience on that. And with her, it's way too obvious. Like I said, statute of limitations, not one, what did he say? Shred of evidence and proof, and also no proof that she doesn't have a brain problem or a memory problem, that is all based on guilt, self-hate, anxiety, being heartbroken. All that is not going to work. Date July 28, 2021. King Holmes, okay, Howard E. King is the name of the attorney for defendant for Brian Warner. All right. Conclusion. Love this. Such a short, it seems like a lot better compared to the other things that sometimes we get to read here in my channel and other people's channels that we got to sit. I like to sit and read that madness because it cracks me up. To read about human trafficking, and to read about how he gave Chloe Black a kimono and expect her to wear the kimono, and how cold the apartment was, and how the walls were black. I love to read that, but at the same time, I like this because this is like short and sweet. Boom. Okay, so if you missed the first part, I'm just gonna repeat it really quick. The whole gist of it is this. Okay, Marilyn Manson attorney Howard King is going to dismiss Esme Bianco. There's lack of evidence, and also the years don't match because it's too late, okay, because she sat on it for too long. And also there's no evidence of her having any type of memory problems at all whatsoever. So it's going to be dismissed on the note of her saying, I didn't know what was happening, but now I know what's I know now, but I didn't know then. So that's unbelievable. Pretty much the best, my favorite quote is this: the claims are untrue. Okay, Warner says the claims are untrue, meritless, and a key component of a coordinated attack by multiple plaintiffs, all the witches, who are cynically and dishonestly seeking to monetize and exploit the Me Too movement. Months and months of plotting, workshopping, and fine-tuning. I love these words. Fine-tuning their stories to turn whatever consensual friendships and relationship with one another they have into twisted tales that bear no resemblance to reality. It's not an Instagram post. This is the law. You know what I mean? And also, banking on his persona, as they're trying to say as well. They're trying to conflate the imagery and artistic abilities of Warner's shock rock stage persona Marilyn Manson with fabricated accounts of abuse. So it's like banking on him being Manson, right? Stage persona and all that. We knew this whole time. So anyway, that's it. So you're done. It didn't happen before. Too late to the party. Should have been said before, and not kind of like hinted, like when she went with Evan, was going to all those interviews in 2018 and 2019, and she hinted there was Manson, and she hinted right there she could have said something, but she didn't. So the whole, I don't remember, but now I do. I wasn't ashamed then, but now I am. And I thought it was okay to do that type of kinky stuff, but now I think it's not okay. This is pretty much what they're saying here. You cannot try to change the statute of limitations based on self-hate, guilt, anxiety, depression, or any type of psychological problems. But however, you could change it. You could change their mind if you have proof that you have a brain problem and that you cannot remember things. And then maybe you have a case. I'm not saying this so you can just go out and accuse guys of a bunch of things. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. So, one more time I'm going to say it. Manson is innocent. And I'm not changing my mind. Because I do have memory. Yeah, the whole memory thing. If you're not willing to prove somehow, have a doctor or something that you have something in the past, a stroke or something that messed up with your memory of recollection of things, you're not proving that, you're done. You can't base it on how depressed, how anxious this guy made you. Because who knows? Like, maybe she had all these problems before, and maybe they have nothing to do with him. I don't know why every anxiety attack, panic attacks, OCD, Ashley Morgan says she had OCD, depression, bipolar, everything is blame on him. Like, there might be a chance, just might be a chance that you had these things before, we all do. So anyway, I'm gonna go, oh my god, 24 minutes, because this is the second part of the first part. If you watch this one, it's cool because you don't need to watch the other one. It's pretty self-explanatory on the title. Dismissed, trying to dismiss, and he's asking with respect. He's not taking her to court. He's not saying that he's gonna take her for perjury or he wants some type of apology. If I was him, I would want a big public apology. But that's not the type of person he is, I guess, or not want to do it yet. Maybe in the future he will. I don't know. All he's asking is for the court to respectfully dismiss it. Dismiss her. And we know she gets dismissed, and everybody's gonna get dismissed. So I think this is good news. I'm sorry that I cut this so many times. It's because I took me my tea and the video is messing up. I guess this is better than going live. I like going live better because I like chatting at the same time. But this maybe sounds better and it's not so glitchy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make good choices. Don't believe everything you read or heard or watch on YouTube. Just do your thing. You know what I mean? Just do your thing. Research. If you have a problem with people doing these things to you for real, you can, there's a lot of help and resources out there. But the first thing you can do is to go get a restraining order. So then, you know, in the future, if things go wrong, things get really bad, you can go and say, hey, in my case, I had to do that. So I can say, hey, in 2019, I got a restraining order against this person. And now in 2021, he's doing this and that, for example. So see, I have, you know, more of a substantial, solid case. And I'm just using that as an example. But if you never complain about anything, you never complain to the court, not to your girlfriends and not on Instagram, but to the court about anything, and the first time that you bring it up is 2021, you know, in California, I think the other states too. In other states, it might be even shorter than 2 years. I don't know. Again, it's important to know that they might bend it for you, for her, but she will have to prove that she had a brain stroke. Pretty much. She will have to prove that he beat her up so bad that caused her to have a brain injury, and now that's why she doesn't remember things. That will be the only way they can actually win this, that she can win this. And that's too late, actually, because they're probably already asked. We don't know the insides of this, so they probably already asked her for evidence, like evidence not just from a psychiatrist. And I'm not putting down psychiatrists, okay? I'm not. But don't come for me, because I'm a mental health worker, okay? So I know, but I also know that just, you know, being a hypochondriac, you know, like washing your hands all the time, you know, and becoming OCD, that is nobody's fault. It's not yours either. But it is something that happened. It's nobody. You can't blame that on your dad or your ex-girlfriend and your ex-boyfriend. Okay, it's really hard to go to court trying to put a guy in prison by saying that you are depressed, that you're anxious. You know, it's very hard. And even if you are those things, and that sucks and that's very sad, you need to get help. But if you cannot prove dementia, Alzheimer, seizures, brain surgery, brain injury or brain surgeries, brain strokes, something that fucked up your memory to the point that you don't remember being abused or not, then you don't have a case. They cannot open a case. Can you imagine if they listen to every woman and every man that is mad at their exes because they did things in the bedroom that now they're ashamed of? You know, because I think that's the whole, I think with her, that's what it's about. With the other ones, it's about cash. I think that she doesn't need as much cash as Ashley Morgan does. So I think everybody has a little bit of a different little blueprint to their cases, but in the big picture, it's pretty much a copy and paste. And the whole human trafficking and the unpaid labor, because it's like, if you live with me and I ask you to make me a cup of coffee, you can just go and say that you've been unpaid labored by me. You know, this is pretty much what she did. She made him a cup of coffee a couple times. She listened to his songs a couple times, which is kind of what you do when you're the girlfriend of a dude like that. Listen to his music. Is that what do you want to get paid? So all that, it sounded silly before, it sounds so silly now, even more, knowing that they're telling her right there that it holds no merit. The self-hate, the anxiety, the shame, the heart being heartbroken. I mean, all those are bad things, but that is not abuse. Um, so yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this me nonsense. I know I'm going like this, like a hamster on a wheel, but you get it, right? Good news. And that's about it. I don't know anything about the dude. West Side Gun is the name of the rapper that posted the whole thing defending Manson, and then he took it down, and I didn't see it in time. So I don't know what it said. I was watching a video from Colonel Kurtz and Celtic Iron talking about it, but I can't find the actual post, and he deleted it. He took it down, which is the same thing that Dita Ortiz did, and I'm not gonna blame them. I understand the pressure, and also I think it's the same pressure. The reason that Dita took it down is the same reason that Rose McGowan made that little video. That's my theory, at least, that they were being pressured by the big machine. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, conspiracy, all that. Yeah, it's just not us saying it anymore, it's them saying it. So that makes me kind of like happy. I'm gonna go play some Manson now. Just wake up my cat. Oh, she's awake. Oh, I was just talking shit. She's awake. All right, thank you so much, and I'll be back maybe tonight, kind of to hang out more just loosely and just talk and gossip. Might as well we gossip about them. We can. And oh yeah, maybe when I go live we can talk about how he pled not guilty for the New Hampshire spitting incident, because I keep calling it an incident. It is not a criminal thing, but it seems like over there in New Hampshire things are a little bit different than in California. I think here nobody will take him to court for getting spit. But on that thing, on that case, he pled not guilty, and I think it's either going to be dismissed or he's going to have to pay her some money. But he's not going to go to prison. And it sucks if he has to pay her some money, but at the same time, it's kind of like one less headache. So she's asking for $35,000. I think it's just crazy. Like $35,000 to buy a new lens for the camera, because he supposedly spit on her and then did this with his nose. So it spit and snog and good times. Good times on a Manson concert. I don't know what the fuck she thought. She thought she was doing what? Like seriously, she was the Queen of England, like Tea Party or something. That woman. It's weird because we don't know her name. The photographer from New Hampshire. I don't know why they didn't release her name. I think that they don't want to release her name because everybody is gonna go on her and we're gonna put our paws, But I won't do that even if I know her name, because it's irrelevant. Also, it's irrelevant that she's a woman. She could be a guy. She could be a pony. I don't care. I still think that it's overreacting and it's dumb. And just wash it off. Stop complaining. It's people complain about the tiniest things. So it's not something that it really hurt her feelings, so she got sick because of it. She just wants the cash. So maybe he should just to get it, just brush it off. And but he pled not guilty. I thought he was gonna plead guilty. He was gonna say guilty and pay the fine. But I think he pled not guilty, so maybe he wants to fight it. I don't think it's worth it. But whatever, that's a different case, and there is no investigation on this case. Stop believing what Rolling Stone and The View and People magazines are telling you. They're saying all over these investigations, the Los Angeles investigating Manson for. They're not. This is it. This is the only thing that has his name on it. A lot of court filing. There is no investigation by the FBI and the CIA. And Ashley Morgan was saying, I've been talking to the agencies. I think she meant the FBI. Oh my God. I've been talking to the agencies. No, 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 they're not. I mean, in your head, you can talk to whatever you want to talk to. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. 35 minutes. Okay, cool. I'm getting better at this because I'm talking fast, or because I made 2 videos actually. So if you add this one to the other one, it is about an hour and a half. What it is. I'm just excited because I think this is good news for everybody, and I'm so glad that he has a really good lawyer, and they're set on they're saying they're just set. I love reading the words conspiracy and fine tuning and workshopping and gossiping. I love reading those words. I like that better than if he came out and said, I don't know these people, I never had sex with them. That would just be so dumb and untrue, because he did. With this one, this one with Esme, he said he admitted to have a relationship with her, consensual ones. Whatever else happened on her head after that, and shame of guilt, self hate, whatever she felt, is kind of like her problem, and she needs to go therapy. Maybe her and Evan can go to therapy together after the whole flipping off or making a video on Instagram singing a song about Marilyn Manson, acting like a little salty cheerleader that didn't make the team. Seriously, that's how I feel. Like when I was like, I'm not gonna call them witches anymore because witches are cool. I'm gonna say gossip girl. Cheerleaders, gossip girl. No offense if you're a cheerleader, but that's kind of how I see Evan. She's a brat. She just wants to complain. All you gotta do is go to her story on Instagram, and oh my God, she's throwing shade at everybody. My last video, if you want to go watch, you can, but if you don't have to. You just go to her Instagram and look at her story. Oh my God, she throws shade on her dad, mom, Jamie Bell. Like, she doesn't know what to do. So it makes me a little bit sad. Not really. Okay, thank you.